अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री राधे श्याम। Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna appeared over 5,000 years ago, and then he keeps appearing again and again in the house of devotees. Deity worship is one of the most important item out of 5 important items as mentioned by Rupa Goswami. First one is to chant Hare Krishna. First one is to chant Hare Krishna. Then second is to be with devotees association. Third is to read scriptures. Fourth is to do deity worship. And fifth is to stay in the dham of the Lord. So, as he appears in every yuga, he also keeps appearing in the houses of devotees as per the sincerity of devotees. And Srila Prabhupada said, I one time heard that Lord is unlimited, but he chooses to become limited to accept service from his devotees. And how does he choose to become limited? In the form of deity of the Lord. Lord does not have to be limited to the deity form, but he becomes limited so that devotees can serve him and he can accept their service of love and devotion. So Vigraha is the most merciful form of the Lord, where we can conceive and relate to the unlimited Lord in the limited form. It is not that only installed deities they have reciprocation with devotees. I have known devotees who have welcomed deities of home. I've known devotees who have Gaurnitai or Jagannath Baldev Subhadra at home, which are not welcomed in a Pratisthapana way, but still at one house in Mira Road, one time the Mataji forgot to keep water in the night for the Lord, and the Lord Jagannath came in her dreams and told her he was very thirsty, please give water. So she woke up in a great surprise and she saw that she had forgotten to keep water for the Lord in the night. And the Lord was so personal to come in her dreams, wake her up and take water from her. So Lord is not thirsty of our water. He is the source of all water. But still, to make a reciprocation with the devotees, he appears. He appears and reciprocates with devotees. It's so wonderful, actually. I personally remember in Rishikesh, when I was staying in 1988, we had a small ashram that time in Rishikesh. And I used to worship deities every single day. In Rishikesh, when we were staying there, the latest one can enter in the temple hall to chant was 3 a.m. in the morning. And if somebody enters later than 3 a.m., then he would not get breakfast and lunch that day. So most devotees would arrive in the temple for about 2:30 to 45, latest by 3 o'clock. And the person who comes at 3:05 in the temple used to be looked upon as the most fallen devotee. So every devotee will complete his rounds before 4:30, and 4:30 would be Mangal Arati. And at 5:15 after Tulsi Arati, there would be nobody in the temple except for me, who would be doing dressing for Gaur Nitai almost every single day. So I dressed the deities for almost many months, And one day I just felt that how do I know whether the Lord has accepted my service or not? So that particular day I was thinking about this while dressing the deities of Gaur Nitai. And I asked in my mind to the Lord, my Lord, if you are accepting my service, then please show me something today that I would believe, or someone should tell me that the deities are looking very beautiful today. Then I would believe that you are accepting my service every day. So after the Shringar Arati, every day there would be prasadam service, breakfast service. So I was serving prasadam and was waiting everybody to say something. Everybody had the breakfast and they went away. Nobody said anything. And finally the Swamiji was there that time. He came a little late for prasadam and I served prasadam to him also. He also was quietly eating prasadam. And just before getting up from his breakfast prasadam, he said that the deities are looking very beautiful today. So I was so happy. May I request everybody not to cheat me and put the video off? May I request you to put your video on? Please, this is my humble request. I won't be able to speak. I'll have to stop speaking. So then I thought next day that maybe one day is a chance, Maybe it's a chance. It may not be, it may be a fluke. So I told the Lord next day while dressing that if today somebody says, then I will believe that you are accepting my service. I won't ask again. So next day I dressed the deities and I was serving breakfast to devotees, and again nobody said anything. And they finished prasadam and they also went away. I was so sad. I thought, yes, yesterday's was fluke and today's was the truth. Lord is not accepting my service. And then after I went to the kitchen, put the pots back, some devotee came to kitchen and told me, the deities are looking very beautiful today. So after that, I did not ask anybody. Anytime, I did not ask the Lord also whether you are accepting me or not, accepting my service or not. So the point I was trying to tell here was that do not think that only deities who are installed, they reciprocate. The Lord is not bound to the process of installation. The Lord is not bound for the process of pratishtapana. The Lord is Lord. He can reciprocate to you in any form, anywhere, any place. He can even reciprocate without being a deity also. So I still remember the story of Lord Jagannath. There was a pujari, long back, there was a pujari who was a head pujari of Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Puri. And He was serving the Lord Jagannath for whole his life, and he became very old, and he thought he will not survive for many years. So one day he thought, I served the Lord for such a long time, for long many years, and Lord Jagannath is so reciprocative. Has he really accepted my service? I would like to know before I die that whether Lord has accepted my service or not. So he told one day to the Lord while blessing the deity, blessing the Lord Jagannath, oh my Lord, I have served you for a whole lifetime. Now please show me something today by which I will understand that you are accepting my service. That means something unusual should happen today, which is not usual, and it should be distinct, and it should strike me that it is different than other days. And I will believe if something happens today, I will believe that you are accepting my service. So you know that in Jagannath Puri, when they offer service to the Lord, they just stand there and they have some long sticks, and they keep putting on everybody's, and they keep taking money and so many things. They are giving flowers and tulsi mainly, and the whole day they stand, and then they go in for next service. So he had done all his services, and he was just waiting. A Sandhya Arati was also done, and after Sandhya Arati, he was waiting for that unusual thing to happen, and nothing was happening. There was crowds of people coming and taking darshans, and he was lovingly touching them with the sticks and giving them tulsi. And he was getting very, very anxious. He was thinking, my God, nothing is happening. My whole lifelong service, is it going to be wasted? Or has my Lord accepted? Or my service has gone down the drain? Was feeling very sad. And it was Sandhya Arati already over, and it was evening time, getting dark in the night. And suddenly he saw a dark man who was double the height of all the people. And he was in kingly dress. He had mukuta, he had kingly, upper cloth, lower cloth, uttariya, a lot of ornaments. He was dark in color. And he was looking very big and stout and strong, and he was tall. And he was standing and offering his prayers to the Lord with folded hands. And this Pujari was looking at him, and he could realize that actually he was the only person who was seeing him, and nobody else in the audience was able to see him because they were not even bothered about it. See, somebody is like double the height of yours in the crowd. I'm sure everybody will keep looking at that person. Everybody will notice that person and will, accordingly show reactions. Oh, wow, what a height, what a big man, what a kingly man. Who is he? From where is he? So there was nothing like, not even a notice from anybody. Nobody even noticed him. But he was there, and the head Pujari was seeing him. And slowly he came in front, and he was close to Lord Jagannath, offering his prayers very intently. And then as crowd was going, he also started going. So Pujari was very happy that he saw something unusual. He never saw this man, and this man was kingly and big crown and double the height of everybody. So as the man started going away, as everybody was going away, Pujari also followed him and followed him for long distance. And that man also came to know that his Pujari is following him. That man went to an area where there was nobody, and basically he wanted to disappear from there, basically. So as he was looking behind again and again, Pujari was still following him. So he was like unable to disappear. So finally Pujari came very close to him, and he said, Maharaj, stop. Who are you? Please tell me. He said, nobody. I'm a simple man. I come every day for Sandhya Arati. So no, I know everybody who comes for Sandhya Arati. I've never seen you up till now. Please tell me, Maharaj, who are you? And he fell at his feet. Said, Maharaj, please tell me, who are you? And that person became very compassionate. And he told that I am Bibhishan. I come from Sri Lanka every evening for Sandhya Arati. So Pujari was so happy, extremely happy. And he touched his head and gave blessings to him. And Pujari was overwhelmed. Pujari was crying, shedding tears of love and appreciation and gratitude. Said, thank you very much. He was thanking the Lord also in the heart, thanking King Bibhishan also in the heart. Huh? And finally, the Pujari was not ready to leave this person. So held this person's hand and said, please give me something, some memento, something that I should be having with me as memory of my visit, of your visit to me or my darshan of you. Please give me something, some token. So Bibhishan removed his big bangle, kankan, removed a big one and gave it to him. And he's like, not like 10, like the ladies have sometimes very, big wrist. So they want to look for 8-10. I don't know. My wife told me yesterday, 8x10 size, something like that, which is very big, not usual. This was like maybe 20x20, very big. And he removed and gave to the Pujari. And as soon as he gave the Pujari the bangle, the kankan, it disappeared. Pujari was so happy that he made a temple for it, special temple, and he put it in that. Today also in Jagannath Puri, this particular temple is there where the kankan is kept. But somehow it is locked now. It is not open for darshan. At one point of time when I had heard this story, where I heard this story, that's also amazing. I heard this story in Koshi, in the house of a Brajvasi called Madan Mohanji, who was a great singer, a great devotee. And in his house we had gone to eat prasad. At that time another devotee had come, Brajvasi, and he had told this story. How the Lord is so reciprocal, so much reciprocating with his devotees, and always responds and always acknowledges the service done by his devotees. The same with Bibhishan. The same Bibhishan, he went to Ayodhya for King Ram's, Lord Ram's coronation ceremony, Rajyabhishek ceremony. So they all went by Pushpaka Viman, which was actually previously owned by King Ravana, stolen from Kubera. And they all flew from Sri Lanka to Ayodhya. And then there was a grandiose ceremony, very beautiful ceremony, which was like lifetime ceremony. And then everything was over, and then Bibhishan was supposed to leave and go to Lanka. And at that time, he could not leave. I mean, he didn't want to leave. He could not leave. His mood was not to leave the Lord's association. So he told Lord Ram that I just don't feel like leaving from here. But I know I have to leave because this is my duty. So please give me something. Because when I was there with you in the battlefield, I was always with you, just standing next to you. I had witnessed all the war just standing next to you. Because I was supposed to give you all the hints and all the hidden secrets. But now I feel that the war has ended, my brother has died, and now I have to go away from you. You will be in Ayodhya, I will be in Lanka. Then how will I associate with you? I will miss you. My Lord, give me something. So the Lord gave him Ranganatha deity. Lord Ranganath's deity was with Lord Ram. Briefly, I'll tell the history of the deity. When the material world was created for the first time, and first Manu was created by Brahma. Shraddha Deva Manu, the first Manu. And Shraddha Deva Manu came down to earth and he had the whole world as his kingdom. So he needed a priest, a Brahmana priest. So he prayed to the Lord Brahma to give him one. So that time Brahma had Vasishtha Muni in Brahma Loka. And he said, Vasishtha Muni, you should go down. He needs a priest. So he said, I will not go to Prithvi Loka. I don't want to get degraded in Prithvi Loka. And my goal of life is to achieve the Lord. So Brahma said, what if you go down as a priest and you will be able to do the Jata Samskar of the Lord himself, Namakarana of the Lord himself, and Brahmopadesham of the Lord himself, and wedding of Lord himself, then what would you think? He said, yes, then I would like to go down as a priest. So Vasishtha Muni this way accepted. But it was going to be long time after he went down. He went in the beginning of Satya Yuga, of the first Satya Yuga, first Kalpa. And after the whole Satya Yuga of 17 lakhs 28,000 years, in the next Yuga, that is Treta Yuga, at the end of Treta Yuga, which is about 12 lakhs 96,000 years. At the end of that Treta Yuga, Lord was going to come. So it's not that our Vasishtha Muni got service to the Lord, Jata Karma, everything on the spot. He had to wait for a long time, for many generations, because Shraddha Deva Manu, then other Manu, Vaivasvata Manu, and so many Manus. You cannot imagine. Chakshush Manu. So many people had to pass, and their lifetimes had to get over, and he was there only. Vasishtha Muni was like Chiranjeevi in one sense. He was there only. He became the priest from Shraddha Deva Manu to everybody till Lord Ram, till Dasharath Maharaj also. Now, Vasishtha Muni came down and King Shraddha Deva is there. Then both of them discussed and they thought, okay, to establish something here, we need to have a holy place to come down. So then Lord Brahma arranged for the spiritual world Dwarka to descend on earth. And it's not easy to make the holy dham descend. So first Lord sent his Sudarshan Chakra to get established on earth. And then on that Sudarshan Chakra, the Lord sent Ayodhya Nagari from spiritual world. So you all should know that the first ever king in the material world was Shraddha Deva Manu. The first ever priest was Vasishtha Muni. And the first Nagari, the first city that was established on earth was Ayodhya Nagari. Then when they had a dham, spiritual world descended on the earth, they both discussed and decided that now we should have a deity. How can the dham be without a deity? So they again approached Brahma. Because Vasishtha Muni being with Brahma, he knew that Brahma had a beautiful deity of the Lord that was given by the Lord to him at the time of his creation. When Brahma was created, he was given the deity of Lord Ranganath by the Lord to worship. So Lord Ranganath was being worshipped by Brahma in Brahma Loka, and Vasishtha knew that. So Vasishtha said, we'll do tapasya and please Lord Brahma, and he'll ask for the boon, and that time we will ask for Lord Ranganath. So both of them did tapasya and please Lord Brahma. Brahma came, yes, what do you want? And then Vasishtha Muni said, my Lord, we want your Ranganath deity. So Brahma said, Arey, how can you ask deity of Ranganath to me? It is my deity. In Mahabharata, it is mentioned that you should never go and ask anybody's deity. Please remember that. If you like Kumari Daya's deities, you can't ask her, Mataji, can I take the deities home? I love them. I love your deities. At one time in Barsana, one of our sets of deity, Radha Sham Sundarji, one Brijwasi Mataji fell in love with Radharani so much that she came down and stole the deity of Radharani and ran away to her house. And it was really a big ruckus, and we had to really chase her and go to her house, and finally she was crying and crying and embracing Radharani's deity and not giving us. Finally, we had to really convince her and take the deity away from her and put it back next to Shyam Sundar in the I camp. So we should remember that if somebody has, say, 21 Shaligram Shilas, still you should not go and ask, please give me one. You have 21, so you can have 20 and let me have one. Unless the person only feels, oh, you look to be very interested in serving Shaligram. So take this two for you. I'm very happy. Please worship them. Then you can take. You cannot just pester the host and say, please give me Shaligram deities. So similarly, Brahma did not like the idea of, somebody is asking his property only. So then they were back and forth requesting. Then Brahma felt, let me have an intelligent answer. So Brahma said, why we discuss and argue? Let us go and ask Lord Jagannath only. What does he feel? Why we should argue among ourselves what I want and what you want? Let us do what Lord Jagannath wants. So they all went to Lord Jagannath. And they asked, my Lord, what do you want? And the Lord replied, Arey, for this day only I had come to you. I came to you, Brahma, simply to come down to Ayodhya on earth. And I want to go down to earth. I'm waiting for that day to come. Now the day has come. Let me go. So now what Brahmaji will say? He couldn't say anything. And peacefully Lord Brahma had to hand over Lord Ranganath to Vasishtha Muni and Shraddha Deva Manu. And thus Lord Ranganath was brought down on earth in Ayodhya and worshipped by every single king from Surya Vamsha, because Lord Ram's Vamsha, Shraddha Deva Manu's Vamsha was Surya Vamsha. So every single king, if you read Bhagavatam, you will come to know so many kings' name. Basically, Shukadeva Goswami Maharaj in 9th canto, the last part, is explaining that thus ends the Surya Vamsha and thus ends the Chandra Vamsha. I have described both the Chandra and Surya Vamshas to you in detail, O Parikshit. And all the big list of kings who came to birth in Chandra Vamsha and Surya Vamsha are explained. And all of them who were in Surya Vamsha, they had worshipped Lord Ranganath uniquely with only one priest, that is Vasishtha Muni. The kings came and went and they left his body, and Vasishtha Muni was there only. And thus Vasishtha Muni was there at the time of Dashrath Maharaj also, who also worshipped Ranganath. And then Dashrath Maharaj passed away and Lord Ram became a king. He also worshipped Ranganath. Before that, when he was in the forest under the direction of Bharat Maharaj also, Shatrughna worshipped Ranganathji Maharaj. So now the Lord said that I cannot come. I will be here in Ayodhya. So you take Ranganathji and you can take him to Lanka and worship him. So Lord Ranganathji was given to Bibhishan now. And Bibhishan, as he was a demon in Rakshas Vamsha, a great devotee, but he was having a lot of siddhis. So he was flying in the sky. And Lord Ranganath told him, I have only one condition. You don't put me down anywhere. You have to carry. And first time, wherever you keep me down, I will not move from there. I'll stay there only. So Ranganathji was peacefully flying with Bibhishan, King Bibhishan. And suddenly he came across in South India the river Kaveri. The river Kaveri was so auspicious, one of the 7 most important rivers of India, Bharatavarsha. So he immediately felt that when we come across any river, please remember all of you devotees, whenever you come across any river, you're supposed to come down, get down, or come closer to river and do Achman, offer prayers and do Sandhya Vandanam, and then go ahead. So Vibhishan was a great devotee of the Lord. So he just suddenly, like spontaneously, kept the deity down at the bank of Kaveri, very peacefully went, did Achman, he took bath, he did Sandhya Vandanam, offered all prayers, and was very happy and satisfied, and came back, and he wanted to go back and he wanted to lift Lord Ranganath. Lord Ranganath could not be lifted. Lord Ranganath told him that, see, I told you that please do not keep me anywhere on the way. I will stay there only. Now you kept me. Now I have fulfilled my duty of coming with you. You kept me down, so I have to keep my word and you have to accept my word. So Bibhishan was very upset. And he felt that, oh, what a fool I am. So he said, I'm very sad now. Please give me some solace. So Lord said that, don't have to worry about. I will be always with you. How? That the way you have kept me on the ground, such a way that my vision, my eyes are going to be straight seeing you when you sit in the assembly as a king. You will, your Singhasan is in such a position that I can see you sitting on Singhasan and you will be able to see me sitting on Singhasan all the way on the banks of Kaveri. So first benefit to you is that I will be in your eyesight and you will be in my eyesight, in the range of your vision. Second thing, my hand, left hand, which is there, will be towards you, blessing you, like this, like this. It will be blessing you, it will be towards you. Second benediction. And the third one, my lotus feet will be towards you. So anytime you will see me, you will see my lotus feet and you will see my face also. So through all these three things, I will be constantly blessing you. So do not worry. So somewhat pacified, Bibhishan went to Lanka. And the Lord told him before going that, you please come every day and worship me also. Now it's like, you come to Chowpatty temple and someone tells you that I'll meet you near the ocean. It's like 5 minutes walk, so simple. So you are in temple and somebody is on the bank of the ocean. We call it Chowpatty. So you can meet me at Chowpatty. So I'll meet you in 5 minutes. Something like that, very casually Lord told, you come and worship me. It's like 5 minutes walk. But where is Sri Rangam and where is Lanka? So far. But because of mystic powers, every day, sitting on the chariot, flying in the sky, Bibhishan would come and he would worship Lord Ranganath. One day, after worshipping for many, many years, one day he was coming from sky and he got down on earth and he was rushing towards Ranganath. Early morning, very early morning for Mangalarti worship. Bibhishan was coming. And in a hurry, one old Brahmana was walking on the road and the chariot was so fast that Brahmana could not move so fast away from the chariot and he came under the chariot wheel and he died. So as soon as he died on the road under the chariot, all the other Brahmanas who were also running towards temple, they saw that the king crushed this Brahmana to death. So they all gathered and they arrested the king, King Vibhishan. Now King Vibhishan was so powerful, he could have destroyed all the Brahmanas, but he was a very virtuous king. He was a worshipper of cows and Brahmanas. So he just humbly submitted himself to the arrest of the Brahmanas without retaliating, very repentful, very sorry. And they arrested him and they put him in the prison. So you can imagine King Bibhishan now is in the prison of Brahmanas, helpless. Helpless by choice, helpless by his desire, by his devotion, by his humility. Because he respected Brahmanas. Also, he was very repentful that he inadvertently killed the Brahman. So now he was calling the Lord Ram, my Lord, please save me. And you can imagine, in Sri Rangam, he is calling the Lord. And the Lord in Ayodhya heard it. My dear devotee Bibhishan is arrested by the Brahmanas. And what happened, he also came to know. So the Lord flew in the sky in Pushpaka Viman and instantly arrived in Sri Rangam. Met all the Brahmanas and told him, Arey, he's my great devotee. Please release him. So they, seeing the Lord from Ayodhya, they were so blissful and they happily released Bibhishan. So Acharya has told the purport of the story is that just by mere association with a pure devotee, one will surely get darshan of the Lord. Although they didn't know what they were doing, they were only upset because their Brahmana brother was killed. But because they associated with whatever physical association they had with Bibhishan, the result was they were able to see Lord Ram. And all of them, not one, all of them saw Lord Ram. And they released Bibhishan immediately. And that time Lord Ram told Bibhishan, okay, now you don't come in chariot, you come in invisible form without chariot and come and worship me and go early in the morning. So my dear friends, you will be surprised to know that even today, before the Ranganath Pujaris go inside the temple to wake up the Lord, there is fresh chandan, tulsi and flowers and the lamp lit already at the feet of the Lord. That means before the local pujaris, like we know local pujari is, what is his name? Murli Bhattar. Murli Bhattar is the 17th generation of Venkata Bhatta. We know that he goes at a particular time, 4:45 in the morning, and then they bring one cow to the Lord and show the backside of the cow to the Lord as if they are showing Lakshmi to the Lord, and looking at the face of Lakshmi, that is back of the cow, the Lord wakes up. That is his routine. He sees the face of his beloved first thing in the morning before he wakes up. And when they do this and they enter the temple, they will find a wet lump of chandan with fresh tulsi, fragrant tulsi leaves at the feet of the Lord. And then they worship the Lord. Mangalarti, whatever Uttapana, Mangal Bhoga, everything is afterwards. So this is Bibhishan who comes every day in the morning before everybody comes. He worships the Lord and he goes. So you can see that the worshipping deity is such a powerful process by which you can perceive the Lord directly. So do not take the deity lightly. Even at my home, I see the deities of Jagannath, someday smiling at me, someday angry with me, someday not so angry, not so angry, not so happy also, neutral. All kinds of different moods the Lord shows at my home. And it is like, ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stataya bhajameham. The Lord will always reciprocate with you as per your mood. It's so wonderful actually. So another example of deities I remember is when there was a devotee called Dukhi Krishna. He was initiated by Hriday Chaitanya, who was a disciple of Gauridas Pandit at Ambika Kalna. And at one time, his name was actually Hriday. Before he became Hriday Chaitanya, his name was Chaitanya Das. And Gauridas Pandit used to worship Krishna Balaram. And Gauridas Pandit is the incarnation of Subal Gopa. Was very dear to Radharani and Krishna. So he would worship Krishna Balaram with great devotion, and they would talk to him, they would play with him, he would run away with them, play with them, feed them. And suddenly in front of the eyes of Gauridas, Krishna Balaram turned into Gaur Nitai. And Krishna Balaram started going away and Gaur Nitai took their position. This happened one time, two times, three times. Every time he would go to worship the deities, he would see Krishna Balaram going and Gaur Nitai taking their position. And at one time, Krishna Balaram were there, Gaur Nitai were there, and Gaur Nitai were not allowing Krishna Balaram to eat the food offered to them. And they were discussing that your time has gone now, you please go, our time has come. So Gauridas would get puzzled, what is this Leela? And finally, in front of his eyes, Krishna Balaram left and Gaur Nitai settled down. And then he would serve Gaur Nitai, and he would, he was in a very Vatsalya bhav. So he would chastise Gaur Nitai, he would serve them, feed them like children. And the Gaur Nitai would go out and play in the dirt and everything, and they would come late, and Gauridas would scold them, holding the stick in the hand. And then with the holding the stick in the hand, he would feed them and they would eat. And one time they did not come. They did not come. So Gauridas went out with the stick in the hand to find them, to punish them. And because they were very late, Gauridas got very scared because he's coming with the stick. He started running away, running away, running away. Gauridas Pandit was running, running, running. And they were running very, because they were children, and Gauridas was older person, so he could not chase them and catch them. So finally, running, suddenly Gauridas Pandit could not catch them, and Gaur Nitai entered the heart of Chaitanya Das and hid themselves in the heart of Chaitanya Das. So that day onwards, Chaitanya Das was called as Hriday Chaitanya, one in whose heart Gaur Nitai hid themselves. So this Hriday Chaitanya initiated a devotee into a name called Dukhi Krishna. And then Dukhi Krishna was told by Hriday Chaitanya that please go to Vrindavan and stay under the guidance of Jiva Goswami in Radha Damodar temple and learn scriptures from him. So he went all the way to Vrindavan and approached Jiva Goswami, surrendered to him as per the order of Hriday Chaitanya. And then while studying, he had two great devotee, classmates, Srinivas Acharya and Narottam Das Thakur. And third one was Dukhi Krishna. And they all three were studying under the guidance of Jiva Goswami. And in the meantime, Dukhi Krishna would sweep the streets of Vrindavan Dham. When he would sweep the street, the dust would rise in the sky, and he would every day bathe in the dust of Vrindavan. Rajo Bhishekam. So then what happened? He would do this seva in a very great ecstasy. There was one devotee in, as I told you, we went to the home of a devotee, Madan Mohanji Brijbasi in Koshi. So he would always sing. I'm giving class on Zoom. So he would sing a song. Mahal Radhika ka buhara karenge, आते जाते निहारा करेंगे. I told you I am giving class on Zoom. So he would sweep the steps of Radharani's temple, and his desire was to die sweeping the steps of Radharani. And about 8 years back, he died sweeping the steps of Radharani's temple 2 days before Rasa Purnima. So everybody said that he must have entered Golok Vrindavan to sweep the kunjas before Radha and Krishna would come and dance their Rasa Leela there. So anyways, so Dukhi Krishna also was sweeping the floors of the roads of Vrindavan and get immersed. And suddenly one day when he was in immersed condition, sweeping the streets of Vrindavan, he found a very effulgent anklet. Penzan we call it, ankle bells, we can say. So it was like so beautiful and so attractive and so effulgent. He was just watching it, and suddenly a beautiful girl came. Very effulgent, nice, sweet girl. And she said, "Oh Baba, did you find any ankle bell here? Anklet?" He said, "Yes, I found." So she said, "Please give me." He said, "Whom does it belong to?" So she said that it belongs to my mistress. He was very smart. He said, then why don't you call your mistress only? I am not going to give you. I will give it to the person whom it belongs to. So she went, and she was Lalita, Radharani's best friend. So she went and she brought brought Radharani and all the Sakhis, and they were at some distance, and she came forward and told, see, my mistress has come and now you can return. So he said, I will give myself personally and return. So he went to Radharani. Radharani was made to sit down on a throne under a beautiful Kalpavruksha tree, and he went and fell at the feet of Radharani and gave that beautiful ankle bell to her. So she was very happy, and by the time he went to Radharani and gave that anklet to her, he turned into Kanak Manjari, his original spiritual form. And as Kanak Manjari, he was a gopi and he was very beautiful, and he fell at the feet of Radharani. And Radharani took back that anklet and pressed the anklet against the forehead of Shyamananda Goswami. And that created a permanent mark, something like new kind of tilak on the forehead of Dukhi Krishna. And then she said, today I name you as Shyamananda. You will be no more called as Dukhi Krishna. You will be called as Shyamananda. And to the surprise of everybody, Radharani manifested a beautiful deity of Shyam Sundarji from her own heart. And she gave it present to now Shyamananda. And she said that all the three things that I have done, the tilak, the new name, and the deity, you will not tell anybody that I have given you. It's a secret. You promised me. And then onwards, they all played Holi together with Kanak Manjari in the Kanak Manjari Gopi form. And after a long time playing Holi, Kanak Manjari was completely drenched in many, many colors. And suddenly, that beautiful atmosphere ended, and Radharani disappeared, all the gopis disappeared. And here, Kanak Manjari turned into Shyamananda now. He was totally in trance and ecstasy. It took long time for him to come out of the trance. And finally, he came out to his external consciousness. He took the deity of Shyam Sundarji and went to the temple of Jiva Goswami. And he was, putting a new tilak, different tilak every day. So everybody thought that he is deviated. And he started calling himself Shyamananda. And he started claiming that Radharani came to him, gave the deity. But he didn't tell that Radharani, sorry, I'm very sorry, I told a mistake. He did not tell anybody anything about anything. But he would call himself as Shyamananda. And he would put that tilak. So everybody, as he was not supposed to explain anything, everybody thought that he is deviated now. He has deviated from his path given by his guru. And that became news in Vrindavan. And that news gradually went all the way to Ambika Kalna, to the ears of his guru Hriday Chaitanya. And Hriday Chaitanya Maharaj became furious. How dare my disciple deviate, change name, change tilak? What does he think of himself? So he left Ambika Kalna and came all the way to Vrindavan in very angry condition. I know in those days there were no vehicles. So they would come by foot. So he came all the way and he maintained his anger all the way from Ambika Kalna to Vrindavan. And as soon as he came to Vrindavan, he just caught hold of this devotee, now Shyamananda, and started beating him like anything. But he didn't say anything because he was ordered by Radharani to keep everything secret. So he said, why do you change your name? Why do you put this kind of tilak? And he was just beating. And this devotee, his disciple, was not responding, not answering anything, simply accepting the beating like anything. Finally, the way he was beating, everybody got so scared that this devotee, Dukhi Krishna, Shyamananda, would die. So they stopped. They held Hridaya Chaitanya. Don't beat him anymore, he will die. So he left and he went. Somehow controlled himself. And then in the night, Hridaya Chaitanya got a dream. And Radharani came in his dream in the middle of the night and scolded him and chastised him. How dare you beat my devotee? He may be your disciple, but is my dear devotee. And I have given him the tilak. I impressed my anklet on his forehead. So it is my gift to him. I changed his name and I gave him the deity. Who are you to beat him? So Hridaya Chaitanya got up in the middle of the night and came running in the kutia of now Shyamananda and fell at the feet of his disciple. And he said, I'm very sorry. I'm not fit to be your disciple, guru. I'm fit to be your disciple. You have been blessed by Radharani. And I didn't understand the elevated spiritual position that you have. I feel so guilty that I have beaten you. I'm such a big aparadhi. Please forgive me. And both were shedding tears of love. And Shyamananda was also overwhelmed with love. So this deity is the only deity in the whole universe which has directly appeared from the heart, from the very heart of Srimati Radharani. There's no deity in this world like this. So this deity is there in Vrindavan, in Seva Kunj. There is another big deity of Shyam Sundarji, which belonged to Braja Janananda Swami, the big deity standing in front. And next to left to that deity, there is a small deity of Radha Shyam Sundar, which actually manifested from the heart of Radharani. And very next to that is the temple of Radha Damodar, where originally Shyamananda Goswami studied. And that deity of Damodar, how did it manifest? Because Jiva Goswami would worship Krishna Balram in his childhood, and he would embrace Krishna Balram deities and would sleep in the night. And as Jiva Goswami, he was a nephew of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. They had a brother called Anupam, who had a son and who became Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami, Jiva was very devoted, so he followed Rupa and Sanatana, came to Vrindavan. And when Rupa Goswami manifested the deity of Radha Govindji, Rupa Goswami could see in the eyes of Jiva that Jiva also has a desire to worship deity. So Radharani appeared in the dream of Rupa Goswami and taught him how to carve a stone into a deity. And learning directly from Radharani, Rupa Goswami carved a deity of Krishna that was called Damodar. And that deity was presented by Rupa Goswami to Jiva Goswami. And that became the heart and soul. Jiva Goswamir Pran Dhana Hai, Jai Radha Damodar Radha, Damodar Radhe. So this is how Lord Damodar appeared, to accept the service of Jiva Goswami. Such beautiful pastimes of deities actually. I remember Madan Mohanji also. That was made by our Vajranab, the great grandson of Krishna. And then he, after creating and staying for some time, Madan Mohanji disappeared. And then Advaita Acharya came to Vrindavan just before Mahaprabhu's appearance. And he was sitting under the Dwadasha Aditya Til and worshipping the Lord. And suddenly, in front of his eyes, Madan Mohanji appeared. And then Madan Mohanji stayed under the banyan tree called Advaita Vat for some time, and Advaita Acharya worshipped him. And then soon there was a time for Lord Chaitanya's appearance, and at that time Advaita Acharya wanted to go back to Mayapur, Navadvip, Shantipur. So the Advaita Acharya delivered the deity to a Chaturvedi Brahman, whose name was Purushottam Chaube. And he had his devoted wife, and he said, please take care of the deity, and I'm going now. So Purushottam Chaube and his wife was in such a Vatsalya Bhav, and because of their Vatsalya Bhav, the deity of Madan Mohanji would sometimes be deity and sometimes it would turn Pratyaksha and would go and play in the bank of Yamuna with Brijbasi boys. So every day she had to chase him, scold him, show him stick, bring him back home, and standing with the stick in hand, feed Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan was so naughty that he would play whole day, and really not listen to Mata. And finally she had to run with the stick, and he would come home, and then she would stand with the stick and he would eat. So many years passed, and after that, one day Purushottam Chaube died, and Purushottam Chaube had a lot of property and everything was stolen by the relatives. So the rich Purushottam Chaube and his rich wife, they became poor because Purushottam Chaube died. Finally, everybody died and only that old lady remained. And she was serving Madan Mohanji every single day. And in this meantime, Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, all of them came to Vrindavan on the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in those days, you all will be surprised to know, I will not believe only, that Vrindavan was a complete forest. Not a single house of a householder was there. Full Vrindavan. And these Goswamis or whoever sadhus, they would go to Mathura to beg Madhukari. And that too, they would go once in many days. So Sanatan Goswami, once in many days, would go to Mathura. And one time he went to beg at this house of this old lady. And he said, Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi. And at that time, that old lady was scolding Madan Mohanji with a stick in hand and feeding him and using all harsh words. And Madan Mohanji, kind of trembling in fear, was eating. So Sanatan Goswami was watching. And he had learned from Gauranga Mahaprabhu about the Sambandha Gyan. So he knew all the deity worship. He also wrote Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is a detailed description of how to worship deities. So he knew how to worship deities. So after that, feeding the boy with stick in the hand, the lady came and started giving bhiksha to Sanatan Goswami. And Goswami said, Mata, this is not the way you serve the deities. We should sing songs of praise and chant mantras and ring the bell, and with great awe and reverence, we should serve. Not the way you serve with a stick in the hand and scolding and with harsh words in the punishing mood. What kind of seva is this? So the Mata was really a very humble devotee, genuine devotee. So she said, oh, the Sadhu Maharaj is guiding me. I should change my mood. So she started repenting and asking forgiveness and begging pardon from the Lord and said, I'm very sorry, my Lord. I was scolding you. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. And Sanatana Goswami went with Bhiksha. And the Lord Madan Mohan was very, very unhappy because he saw that Mata's mood has changed. She was so sweet in scolding me like a mother, and I was really happy and relishing her motherly affection and scolding, and he was really happy. And suddenly, because this Baba came and he advised something, She started worshipping me now with songs and slokas and ghanti and everything. The Lord became unhappy. So he appeared in the dream of Sanatan Goswami that night. And he said in a very little bit scolding mood, "Hey Sanatan, you have spoiled everything. What do you think of yourself? You are a great Pandit of worshipping the deity." She was worshipping me with so much sweetness and motherly affection. And I was really happy. I was enjoying the scolding. You came and disturbed everything and you spoiled the whole thing. Now she's no more scolding me. She's simply now she's simply now worshipping me, only praising me. Now I'm getting bored. So I have decided that I want to come and stay with you. So anyway, I don't get any rasa over there. I want to take service from you. So Sanatan Goswami said in the dream to the Lord, "My Lord, I am a mendicant. You know, I go once in a few days out and I beg, and whatever dry rotis I get or whatever some atta I get, sometimes I soak in the Jamuna water and I bake in the firewood and I eat that. That's the only thing I have. Whatever you get and eat, you offer me, no problem. Go tomorrow to the same house and beg Madhukari and she will donate me to you. Please accept me and take me away." So what happened was, the same night the Lord came in the dream of this old lady also and told her that, "Mother, tomorrow the same Baba will come. You please donate me to the Baba. Just give me a second, I'll open the door and come." So she was crying in the dream that I made aparat to the Lord. Lord doesn't want to stay with me anymore. But she was so devoted to the Lord. She felt, oh, it's Lord's desire to go with Baba, then it's okay. The Lord told her to donate him to the Baba next day. So next very day, Sanatan Goswami went there. And the lady came with tears in eyes that I did aparad. I was doing aparad all the while. So Lord has become unhappy with me. But oh Baba, I want to tell you that serving this boy, I have lost everything. I've lost my husband. I've lost my wealth. I lost my children. He has taken away everything from me and made me absolutely a pauper. Are you ready to take him? So he said that I already left all those things what you have lost. So I am nothing more to lose. So it's okay for me. So she donated the Lord to Sanatan Goswami. And now Sanatan Goswami is walking to Vrindavan. And he is telling the Lord, "See, my Lord, I told you that I don't have anything to serve you. I'm a mendicant. I've come from outside. I've given up everything. And I only eat bati once in few days." He said, yes, whatever you eat. He said, "My Lord, I'm telling you one more thing. I don't have a house." The old lady had a house at least. "I live under a tree. And that too, different tree every day, not even same tree." It's okay, wherever you stay, I stay with you. See, tomorrow you will say, "I want sweets and I want makhan and I want butter and I want sweet meats." I don't have. He said, okay, whatever you see, you get, you offer me, I will eat. So then the Lord started saying, staying under every tree. Finally settled down in Dwadasha Aditya Teel. And one day Lord tells Sanatan Goswami, "Arey Sanatan, what kind of a devotee you are? So many years you are serving only saltless bati to me. There's no spice, no salt, no ghee. Nothing is there. At least put some salt for some taste." So Sanatan Goswami said, "I told you, You will ask me one day salt and this and that. Today you'll ask salt, tomorrow you'll ask sweet meats, tomorrow you'll ask pakoda. From where I will get this thing? I don't have anything. So Lord said, you mind if I arrange myself? So Sanatanji said, yes, yes. I have no problem if you mind, if you arrange yourself. The Lord was actually waiting for permission of Sanatana Goswami to arrange salt for his own. And then that long pastime took place. Ramchandra Kapoor came with a boatload of salt, and his boat was lost in Jamuna water and in the um, tufan, the cyclone, and somehow he came jumping off the boat and saved his life and came out and searching for save my boat, save my boat. And at that time, Madan Mohanji, in the form of a boy, was playing with coward boys at the bank of Jamuna, and he said, Ramchandra Kapoor, that there is a great devotee on the top of the mountain. If you go to him and plead, by his power your boat can be saved. So that Ramchandra Kapoor ran on the mountain, small mountain, Dwadasha Aditya Til. And then in the meantime, when Madan Mohanji made the businessman, Vyapari, Ramchandra Kapoor surrendered to Sanatana Goswami, Sanatana Goswami said that Madan Mohanji will protect you. Madan Mohanji will save you. And there Madan Mohanji, down as a small boy, coward boy, took out his waistcloth and whirled it in the sky and changed the direction of the cyclone and pulled the boat by manipulation to the banks. And the whole boat was saved. So while the Ramachandra Kapoor was bowing down to Sanatana Goswami, packet of salt fell from his pocket, and that was picked up by Sanatana Goswami, and that day he made bati with the salt, and thus Lord arranged bati with the salt for himself. So when the boat was saved, this Ramchandra Kapoor was extremely happy, and he decided that he will go and sell all the salt and make money and come back to Sanatana Goswami and give it to him. Lo and behold, my dear friends, when this Ramchandra Kapoor went to Agra, finally his destination was Agra, so he went to Agra to sell his salt. The salt turned into camphor, which is much more costlier than the salt. And he sold all the camphor, high quality camphor. By the mercy of Madan Mohanji, the salt was converted into camphor and camphor was sold and lot of money was collected. And he came back to Vrindavan and he met Sanatana Goswami and said, Maharaji, please accept my wealth. I was almost died, almost dead. My boat was almost gone. Nothing belongs to me now. I know everything is belongs to your mercy. So you please take it. So Sanatana Goswami said that I am a mendicant, I don't need anything. But my Lord is staying under a tree on this Dwadasha Aditya Til. So you build a temple to Dwadasha Aditya Til for Lord Madan Mohanji. So thus that businessman Ramchandra Kapoor built that temple. And that was the first temple which was built in Vrindavan. Now, about the deity responding to the devotees, I remember one more story. Very soon, at the same time, in Uchagaon, which is the village of Lalita Devi, a great devotee took birth. He was incarnation of Narad Muni, and his name was Narayana Bhatta Goswami. And Narayana Bhatta Goswami was not born in Uchagaon actually. He was born somewhere else, but he came there to Uchagaon. And one day he got a dream that Radharani came in his dream and told him that I am under the stone at Bhanugad. Please take me out of that place. And he showed that place, holding the finger of Narayan Bhatta Goswami, and said, I am here, please remove me from here. So Narayan Bhatta Goswami dug that place and removed the deity of Radha Ladli Lal, the Vrindavan, the Varsana deities, Sriji deities. One day Sriji came in his dream and she said that, take me to Radhakund. And Radhakund, there is a deity of Madan Mohanji, because that time, due to the Aurangzeb attack, the deities were on transit from one place to another, from Vrindavan to Jaipur. So Madan Mohanji had left Vrindavan and had come to Jaipur, come to Radhakund. So Radharani told Narayan Bhatta Goswami to take the deity and go to Radhakund and meet Sri Krishna Brahmachari, Sri Krishna Das Brahmachari, and take instruction from him. So, taking the deity of Radharani, Narayan Bhatta Goswami went to Radhakund and he searched where is the temple of Madan Mohanji, and he was inquiring, and finally by the time he reached the actual temple where Madan Mohanji was staying on transit, it was a time after Rajbhoga. Arati was done and Lord had gone to Shayan. The Lord went to afternoon nap. Temple was closed. Rajbhoga was taken. Rajbhoga Arati was done. Lord was put on Shayana. And that time, after much time of Shayan, the Lord Narayan Bhatta Goswami appeared there. So now he was wondering what is to be done. So he started calling the Lord. As soon as he came and called the Lord Madan Mohanji himself opened the door and started talking to Narayan Bhatta Goswami. And hearing the loud conversation between the Lord and the devotee, Sri Krishna Das Brahmachari, who was the disciple of Sanatana Goswami, woke up and went to see what happened. So he saw Madan Mohanji was talking directly with Narayan Bhatta Goswami. So then, after that, Narayan Bhatta Goswami stayed for a long time in Radhakund and taking instructions from Sri Krishna Das Brahmachari, and then went back and established the deity of Ladli Lal in Sriji temple, and renovated and re-manifested many holy places in north side of Braj Bhumi, established the culture of dramatics presentation called Rasa Leela in Vrindavan Dham, which is going on today also. So thus there are so many wonderful forms of the Lord. Pratima nahi tumi sakshat Brajanandandan. The Lord is not a pratima, an image, or made of wood, or made of stone, or made of a paint, or whatever. The Lord is Sakshat. So the devotee who worships the Lord as Sakshat, the Lord is Sakshat for him, is personally present for him. He reciprocates. So we should take the deities very seriously, because they are very, very merciful forms of the Lord, staying in your house, accepting your service, reciprocating with you. So don't treat them like wooden idols or wooden dolls or stone dolls, whatever. Treat them as people. You may not worship them elaborately as temple, but whatever little thing you do, please be very sincere and serious in whatever you do. And thus the Lord will accept your service, and you will have, in this conditioned form, when we are incapable and unqualified to have personal direct association in Sakshat form of the Lord, we still have in the conditioned state an opportunity to serve the Lord directly, and the Lord accepts our service. So Lord Jagannath is very merciful form, very unique form. He is the form of the Lord which manifested in deep separation of Mahabhav from Radharani. That unique, unusual, indescribable, inconceivable form of Krishna was called as Jagannath or Jagabandhu. So he resides in Nilachal. In the second, that is called as Dvitiya Parardha of Brahma. The second 50 years of Brahma, the first, from when first Parardha was over, Lord Nilamadava disappeared. When second Parardha began, the Lord appeared as Daru Brahma and was carved by Vishwakarma. into the deity of Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra Devi and Chakra, Sudarshan Chakra. So it's a very auspicious occasion. I am very happy. Usually I come there to Bangalore, but in these times and situations we are online. But nonetheless, we are together. As long as we chant the holy name, as long as we dance in kirtan, as long as we eat prasadam, we are all together in spirit. Nothing can separate us. So I am with you, you are with me, and I'm very happy to be part of this wonderful festival, to participate in the sincere devotional sentiments of Ananga Sakhi and Kumari Daya Matajis, to participate into their hearts, emotions. I'm feeling very happy, and I'm very, very blissful to relish your festival. Please accept my obeisances and accept my gratitude for your devotion to the Lord. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Now you are free to ask questions if you have any. I have opened the audio. You can put your audio on and ask questions. If you don't have questions, then we'll end. And I will thank you very much. Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I had a comment, Prabhuji, not a question. If you are with your allowance.
Who is that?
Prabhuji, Nishant here, Prabhuji.
Okay, Nishant Prabhuji, please speak.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. First of all, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving a wonderful association. We in Bangalore very much look forward to your association every year. And thanks to Her Grace Kumari Daya Mataji and Anju Mataji for always inviting us. And we are very, very blessed that way, Prabhuji.
Oh, Manorama is also there. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, whenever I hear your Prabhuji Vrindavan pastimes and about Shad Goswamis, there's always something deep which you share, which I actually don't know. And every time I know at the platonic level, and you always share with us your deep realizations. So just wanted to share, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, and keep us in your blessings. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Jai. Anybody else would like to say something? आवाज नहीं आ रही है. Yes, any question?
बोलो. हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
हाँ बोलिए.
प्रभु जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर सच एनलाइटिंग क्लास. प्रभु जी आप वो रंगनाथ जी के पेरेंट्स की स्टोरी कह रहे थे ना, तो उसमें आपने बताया कि ये वशिष्ठ जी के पास फर्स्ट टाइम वो डीटीज आते हैं. नहीं, फर्स्ट टाइम नहीं, सॉरी, इट वाज देयर विद ब्रह्मा जी. तो ब्रह्मा जी ने ही ये वशिष्ठ जी को क्रिएट किया ना, तो हाउ ही विल नो दैट ही इज ओनली वर्शिपिंग रंगनाथ जी का?
क्या आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड.
प्रभु जी आपने कहा कि ब्रह्मा जी के पास वो रंगनाथ जी की डीटीज थे पहले. यस प्रभु जी. सो वशिष्ठ जी को तो ब्रह्मा जी ने क्रिएट किया, राइट?
हाँ.
So how he will know कि ये ब्रह्मा जी को वर्शिप करते हैं? I mean, ब्रह्मा जी is worshipping रंगनाथ जी.
Because Vasishtha stayed for a long time in Brahmaloka.
Okay.
Vasishtha was there only in Brahmaloka. After that, Shradadeva Manu was born and he was sent to earth. So when Vasishtha came down to earth, he knew that Brahma ji is worshipping Ranganath ji. Very simple.
I thought मतलब वो धरती पे ही पैदा हुए और
नहीं, वो मैंने कहा बराबर सुना नहीं आपने कि Vasishtha was there in Brahmaloka and Vasishtha was told by Brahma to go down. So Vasishtha said, no, I can't go down because who will go to earth? It's a Maya place. I don't want to go down. I want to achieve the Lord by worshipping, by doing my sadhana and tapasya. So the Brahma told him that What if you be with the Lord only down? The Lord is going to appear down. You can do his Jata Karma, Garbha Sanskar, you can do his Jani Sanskar, you can do all Sanskaras. You'll be with the Lord only for all thousands of years. Then say, yes, I want to go there. See, vendor. I told it details.
हाँ,
It is in
yes,
details.
Prabhuji.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anybody else has any
Thank you.
question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Who's this?
Prabhuji, my name is Anand, and I have not put on my video because I have some skin problem, Prabhuji, which has completely covered up my face. So if that's okay with you,
Okay, fine.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji, and thank you so much for this wonderful class, Prabhuji. Enjoyed all the wonderful pastimes of the Lord and his reciprocations that you were speaking about. I was, as you were narrating, Prabhuji, the pastime of Sanatan Goswami ji, Purushottam Chobe, I was also recalling the pastime of Shripad Ramanujacharya ji, who was trying to rectify the pujaris in temple of Jagannath for the way they were worshipping the Lord. And I was like, drawn back like little bit of contrast, On one hand, the Lord threw away, Shripad Ramanujacharya ji because he was trying to correct the devotees there who were loving him. On the other hand, here, Sanatan Goswami ji, corrected Purushottam Chobe's wife.
Both are the manifestations of love, basically, that you have to understand.
Yeah. So, Prabhuji,
He
what happened?
didn't want to disturb the Sakhya Bhav of Jagannath Puri devotees. So he threw him in Kurmakshetra. And there he went and established deity worship in the proper manner. So the Lord did not want him to disturb the mood of Jagannath Puri devotees. Because they were standing like this on the hands of Jagannath and Kaliya. And in a very, there was no timing as such. It's all spontaneous. So he thought this is not a way to worship deities. So Lord did not like that interference in Sakhya Bhav of the Jagannath Puri devotees. So when Ramanujacharya was sleeping, the Lord kicked him and he flew all the way to Kurmakshetra. And there he established Kurma deities and the deity worship protocols. Anybody else? Yes.
Sorry, my question was little, this was the one point, but my question was more like, when we see this different kind of, pastimes happening in different ways in the lives of devotees, in the scriptures, and even in in the present day, what we try to think is, what might the Lord be trying to do in our lives? And we try to keep thinking rather than just going with the flow and being sincere.
Don't waste your time in thinking. Just do your duties. Lord will know what to do with you.
Okay.
Whether he has to give sweet in your mouth or whether he has to slap you, let him decide that. Why you worry so much? You are supposed to do your worship and with devotion and let Lord decide and have faith that whatever Lord will do to you, whether he will feed you laddu or slap you, it is all good for you. So don't think too much. Think of the worship of the Lord and try to please him. The Lord will do the needful. When the Lord left that old lady from Mathura, even that was sign of his love only. The Lord went with Sanatana Goswami, when that was sign of his love only. Everything the Lord is doing is sign of love only. But the manifestation of love is in a different form. Every time love is different. It doesn't mean that every time the lover will do things which are very pleasing to you. Love is very deep emotion. It will manifest sometimes in teasing, sometimes in playful mood, sometimes in joking mood, sometimes in serious mood. So love has many, many aspects. So the Lord has all the aspects of love in him, and he will choose to manifest his love for you the way it is good and fit for you. We should have in that, have faith in that perfection of the Lord in manifesting his love for you. So why we have to worry about it? Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji, so much. Hare Krishna.
Any other question anybody has before I close the session today?
Prabhuji, one question got reminded of. You talked about Prabhuji, Vibhishan Maharaj, and that pastime where Brahmana came under his chariot, and because he is a pure devotee, and then other Brahmanas got the darshan of Lord Ram. I was Prabhuji that he was a pure devotee, and then that extreme situation, the Brahmana had to come under his chariot and die.
Brahmana went back to Godhead, Prabhu. Don't forget that.
Yes,
What do you expect when you come under the chariot of Vibhishan?
go back to God.
It's deliverance. It's a lila of the Lord, you know. In Lord's lila, everything is transcendental. So what was your question?
Yeah, Prabhuji, that from our eyes, we're like thinking कि उतना extreme situation क्यों
For
हो गया?
devotees, life and death both are same. They are not different. For a pure devotee, everything is same. जीवने मरणे गति हर नाही मोह. So in life or death, the master remains same. The master doesn't change because of life and death. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. So I end my session today here, and the Lord is now very eager to eat bhoga. So let all of you sing nice bhajan. Bhajabaka tavatsala Sri Gaura Hari. So let him have wonderful prasadam. Sandhya bhog time. Thank you very much. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki jai.